Um, our project. Oh, yeah. Okay.
It's easier.
Okay. Thank you. Were you all involved in the protest in some way?
The three of us.
So what are your names? I know.
I'm Janice.
Vaughn.
Yeah.
Okay.
I met you over there.
Yeah, I was just sitting in. I really liked all the things that you said. I went to the panels and it's just been amazing to listen to people talk about things that we just read about in class. It's so much more real and relevant when we anyway, our project is mostly about the legacy of protest and the transition between a time when this protest was very controversial and now where it's something that's celebrated and taken as part of the university's history. So I guess I would love your thoughts on what it means for you to be back here in a way that's honored and how that transition has happened over time, whether you were contacted by people, how you've seen the present shape how we view the past.
Well, this weekend certainly was not President Price's idea. It was by our peers, the Berties, the Cat Watsons, and whoever else was on that steering committee. If that's where your question's coming from, So I'm only back here by virtue of other people who went through the same experience with me, saying, yes, we should be there for this commemoration, it's wonderful the support that's been given from the university, it's much appreciated by all of us, but there's another side of it, that's the least they could do. Will we wait another 50 years, or how many more protests? You had some small occupation of the island
in 2016,
not too long ago, right? So how long, my people? How long? Seems like it's each other doing the embracing of each other.
True.
Maybe
True.
I'm missing something.
True.
It was
Yeah.
good to have Dr.
Price
the
come.
president, at the
Right.
brunch the other day. But I wish he had attended every panel.
Yeah.
Saturday, that he had been there all day, because I think it would have been enlightening for him. I was at the table when Charles Beckton read a piece that he had said. Chuck Hopkins was sitting next to him and he said, look, this isn't the first time I've made a demand of a Duke president, but someone should honor C.D. Claiborne in its history of Duke and the basketball program at Duke, making that history more available to the wider audience of Duke alumni and stuff. So if it weren't for the Cat LeBlancs, the Bertie Howards, and the other people who were part of the steering committee, as far as I don't know that this weekend would have ever happened. I don't think Duke administration would have said, you know what, it's 50 years since black students went into Allen Building. Maybe we should have them all come back and talk about it.
Well, Dean Neal was also the catalyst for this, because without his support, it would have never gotten
but
through.
Bertie and Cat and them
They
approached him.
and Brenda Armstrong,
Brenda,
right?
rest in peace. Now, when I walk across the campus, I don't feel any more welcomed as back then. When I look around at who's walking across the campus, I don't see any more flavor. It is good to see more Asian students and stuff. Seems like I see more Asian students than
Definitely.
other minorities. Great, wonderful.
Duke is really invested in China.
That's
why they had a
Follow
hard
the
time
money?
when the lady said, y'all can't speak Chinese. Like, what? Okay.
Follow the money.
Yes, follow the money.
So
This young lady is a student, and she's doing a different project.
I
Okay.
think, yeah, we talked a little bit at
Okay.
the Nasher about how we're doing a project on like the legacy of student protest. How does this commemoration or just being part of the protest in general make you feel about being a Duke alum? Are you proud of being from Duke? I thought it was really interesting. We listened to an interview, I think it was with Clarence, and he was talking about both loving Duke and being part of the protest and how you can hold those both at once.
Same way a teenager can love their parents and hate them at the same time. I mean, so there's nothing to be ashamed of. So if I look at it in that way, I have to tell you, then I'm proud I'm proud to have accomplished something. I'm proud to have been here and been a positive influence. I'm proud to have been here and not destroyed my life or turned to other things for support and strength. I agree with Vaughn, and I come over a lot more than Vaughn does because I live here. And I would say it's still the same. You can go places where you do feel well. You walk in the Mary Lou Williams Center, and you know Chandra and her staff are going to be glad to see you. But you're still invisible when you walk on Duke's campus, and not sure. Don't want to contribute all of that necessarily to racism. I think some of it has to also do with the mix, the vast mix. You're not in a microcosm of the Southeast where we're taught to speak, or you get in trouble if you don't, say hey to everybody. And it's almost the same feeling as when I go to New York and don't ask for directions or anything like that, or speak to people. They look at you like you got two heads, or just walking down the street in New York City, and you ask for instructions, and they look at you and say the typical stuff. Do I look like 411 to you? With a few expletives. So I think that mix of influence of people with different values in terms of what makes somebody welcome, what means you respect somebody, how do you show that, is part of it. I live here and have lived here except for 3 years since I graduated, and I've been asked several times by students, if they could, but it was more in the 80s that I got those kinds of calls to interview.
Speaking of which, how old is the Washington Duke Inn? Because I like to not stay at the Washington Duke Inn because of a habit of where we stay usually when we come here. It's very convenient for us. But when I went there Friday night for the Welcoming Center, that felt like a bastion of racism. And when you walk down the hall, and when I looked at the tables of people who were sitting in the public area, the bar, restaurant area, I didn't feel like the people who were sitting there were there to welcome me. So I felt like, okay, I go in, I find out where the biddle room is, and go over there, and that's where I was supposed to be. In Bertie, I think the Washington Museum was a great place to have those events. And all I'm saying is, boy, but when I went in there, I had a feeling of the old entrenched plantation system, and the people. When her question is, how does it feel coming back and stuff, that Washington Duke Inn kind of reinforced what Duke really is. And like some of the panels were talking about, how entrenched racism is in the fabric of American life.
They're talking about all the white portraits.
And I was here 50 years ago.
Here 50 years ago.
I didn't get any feeling of like it being much more welcoming. But my comfort level increased once I got to the biddle room.
But then you.
But I think that Vaughn made a point that you didn't see, and I noticed when we were at the panel, all the people that got up and speak, other than us, got up to say thank you so much. I wouldn't have had my job if it hadn't been for you. But you didn't see not one white person say, thank you so much for enriching my life and enabling me to have to work for or alongside these people who are here. And I think that would have made a difference too in your perspective on whether Duke has really made it. Because what was going through my mind, to be honest with you, is as they talk, I wanted to say, and they still have not increased significantly the number of black staff for the university. The medical school has done, I understand, a champion job.
Of staff or students?
Staff. And actually students as well.
I know students. I mean, that's what I'm aware.
But staff,
I've not heard
I think
reporting about staff. That's
I
what
think the
I'm
staff, according to Brenda, was something like 30%.
I think
But
Brenda
it's-
had a lot to do with that.
Well,
I
of
know she did for
course.
students, but I never heard her talk about staff either.
You never heard her talk about fighting for staff as well.
I think she did
Okay.
in that radio interview.
Yeah, she did all the time with us too. That between her and Dr. Aquari and stuff like that. But then if you take Duke University and split out the medical school, the progress made in hiring black professors or professors of color is like, and that's what they did, spit on it.
Did you read the letters?
Of the white
Of the-
alumni?
Yeah, some of the white Duke alumni wrote to President Knight and
They were
saying
shocking.
expel them, and we black students are ungrateful.
Did you get down on
These
these?
N-word
Yeah.
students.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh,
You had seen it.
Yeah. I
good.
love
You
that
read
they
all
did
that
it.
material. Good.
And-
How did it make you feel reading that material?
It's really strange because I'm from the Northeast, and so the most exposure I had to civil rights was like learning about it just in the classroom, and like coming to this panel, it's not even a lifetime away from us. So of course it's still affecting us today. So I think it really made me think about that, and also about there were white students that were here, but I guess the people in power are like a generation behind us, right?
Where in the
Where'd you grow
Northeast
up?
are you from?
I'm from Connecticut.
Connecticut.
Yeah.
In New Haven, a city, or urban?
I live in Fairfield County, so it's near New York City.
You're New York City.
I wanted to ask you, when you say that coming back here and holding this commemoration is a form of protest, what do you mean by that?
Did I say coming back to the form of protest?
Yeah.
Did you? I didn't hear it. It's interesting. It's interesting what
What you saying?
Yeah, but you
Yeah,
did.
what you said, what you hear. I didn't hear that.
Coming back here was sort of, and I think the protest being, it's been 50 years, y'all still haven't met those demands, y'all still have a lot of issues that you need to address.
And you know something I also missed, I haven't seen it, I guess this is the first chance today, we're on the main campus, the main quad, that there were no black students at the bench.
They don't know the bench.
They don't know, nobody carried on that tradition.
It did for our generation. So the freshmen when I was a senior probably did, and then theirs, but then it just faded away.
It just lasted a few more years. So
where, I guess they congregate in the student center and everywhere.
well, Congregating Student Center, they have a place in Bryan Center. So the Afro-Am or BSA office is now there, and it's more than one room.
No.
Nashville spoke at a thing for Fred that the law school did for him, honored him. And what Nashville said was, I was given 10 minutes to talk about 45 years. And so your time with her, you got too many years to cover. We know that you can't get to everything.